All right, now we're going to factor quadratic trinomials when a is not 1. All right, so we have ax squared plus bx plus c. We want to write it in factored form. So when the leading coefficient is not 1, so when the a is not 1, factoring becomes more challenging because the a affects the first and the outer parts of FOIL. So it's not as easy as just thinking of what multiplies up to c and adds up to b, because a is now put into the mix. All right, so before we start even factor this, the first thing you always want to look for, okay, when there's a leading coefficient other than 1, is you want to look for a GCF. All right, after you check for a GCF, there are different strategies. Okay, I'm going to model 3 of them here. So the 3 strategies are guess and check, factor by grouping, the T method, and so some people call the T method the X method. There's just different strategies of doing it. I'm just going to model one of them here. So first we check for GCF. There is no GCF, okay, because 2 does not go into 5 evenly. So with guess and check, okay, we're going to take our knowledge that it's reverse FOILing. So we know that it's going to be a binomial times a binomial, a linear binomial times a linear binomial. Okay, and we know that the two first terms in each parenthesis have to multiply to 2x squared. So this one is still not too bad because the only thing that can do that, okay, is 2x and x. All right, we know that the last number in each parenthesis have to multiply up to negative 12. Now this is where this problem gets hard. All right, where does the positive go? Where's the negative go? Right? Is it 1 and 12? Is it 2 and 6? Is it 3 and 4? Does the 4 go there? 3 go there? So for this one, that's why we call it guess and check. All right. So the more you could do in your head with the multiplication and adding, okay, the better we can do this. So like if I say 2 and I put a 4 here, I know that 2 times 4 is 8, and then 8 minus 3 will be 5. So I kind of just did the FOIL part in my head. So again, I know that negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. I need to check the outer and the inner part of FOIL to get the 5x. So it was 2x times 4, which was 8x, right? Negative 3 times x, which is negative 3x. That adds up to 5x, so I know I'm right. Okay, so that's my guess and check. Now, I did that on the first one. What if I would have tried 2 and 6 first? Or what if I would have tried 4 there and 3 there, right? It wouldn't have worked. So you just have to keep trying until you get the right combination. Okay, a lot of mental math. The better you are at mental math, the easier guess and check will be for you. Okay, factor by grouping is a step-by-step process. All right, but it does require some figuring out, kind of like the P's and Q's in the last one. But for factor by grouping, we want to go take the first term, okay, and multiply it by the last term. So 2 times negative 12 is negative 24. All right, so now I take this negative 24, and now I need to ask myself, okay, what 2 numbers multiply up to negative 24 and add up to 5? All right, so it's very similar to the last one. So again, that's going to be 8 and negative 3. 8 times negative 3 is negative 24. 8 plus negative 3 is 5. Okay, now this is where the factor by group, I'm going to rewrite this problem. I'm going to replace the 5x with 8x minus 3x. So everything's going to look the same. Okay, 2x squared. And now I replace the 5x with 8x minus 3x, the 2 numbers that I just discovered over here, because this is the same expression, right? Because if I simplify this, 8x minus 3x is 5x. Now we're going to do the factor by grouping part. So I'm going to take the first two, I'm going to group it up. What is the GCF in the first 2? And then what is the GCF in the last 2? All right, so that's what I'm looking for right now. So 2x squared plus 8x, the GCF is going to be 2x. And then that leaves me with x plus 4. All right, then over here I got a negative in front, so I'm going to take out a negative 3. It's going to be my GCF for my last 2, and that's going to leave me with x plus 4. Now, okay, these parentheses are the same. If they're not the same, then factor by grouping does not work. All right, but they should always be the same if It works. All right, so now I write my answer. So this parenthesis will become one parenthesis right here because I'm taking it out of it because it's common. It's a common factor. I'm going to take x plus 4 out. And then what am I left with? If I take that out, I'm just left with 2x minus 3. So 2x minus 3 is my other factor. And you could check, right, versus my guess and check method, my factor by grouping, it's the same thing. Remember, in multiplication, order doesn't matter. So the parentheses could go in different orders. All right. So with the T method, okay, it's very similar to this. Is just a way to organize our numbers here. It's very similar to guess and check here. So I'm going to try, in the first column here, you break apart the 2x squared, so 2x and x, just like I started the guess and check. And then here I'm going to try different numbers. So I could try, 4 and negative 3. And then the check here, you cross multiply and add. So here I'd cross multiply, I get 2x times negative 3, that's negative 6x. And then x times 4 is 4x. Does that add up to 5? And that one doesn't. Okay, so I would, got to erase that, and I got to try something different. All right, so if I tried negative 3 here and 4 here, now when I cross multiply, 2x times 4 is 8x. X times 3 is negative 3x, and that does add up to 5x. So then my answers are my rows. So 2x minus 3 is one factor, and x is positive 4, so x plus 4 is my other answer. All right, so that's the third strategy. It's called the T method because it looks like a T, okay, in there, but then I'm just going and cross multiplying to check. All right, so now your turn. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and use guess and check as my strategy. So I'm going to go 3x and x because that's the only thing that can multiply up to 3x squared. All right, and then I'm going to go with plus 2 here because 3x times 2 is 6x. And 6x minus 4 equals 2x, and then negative 4 times 2 is 8. So this will be our answer here for this one.